Uh-oh, and he's done it again. Oh, we go into his disastrous Melbourne run on this very special edition of...
Well, we'll just tell your mother that we ate it all.
Can we make my voice bassier?
Can we make mine more like, burly and masculine?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know why I agreed to be on this. I don't know. It seemed like...
Are you actually recording now?
Yeah.
Oh,
It seemed
right.
like such a good idea the other day.
Oh, man.
And then I was just walking over and I took drugs last night and I'm feeling not great. I'm just walking from my house over to Rose saying, I don't need this.
Why are you regretting this podcast and not regretting the whole Melbourne run itself? Because that is way more regretful.
You can regret both at the same
Yeah, it's crazy that you think I don't regret the Melbourne run.
Yeah.
When
well-
you say you feel shit, do you feel shit like physically or you feel shit mentally?
Mentally.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So we got some preamble for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of color to fill in what happened to you before the historic. We should do the intros early, I think, for this one. This is We'll Just Tell Your Mother We Ate It All, a podcast dissecting Andrew Hastings' 2019 Melbourne International Comedy. Melbourne.
All right, I'm taking over hosting. He's
hasting the
Melbourne
intro.
International Comedy Festival run for 2019. The show Vulgar Display of Comedy.
People's Choice Award winner.
Wait, I thought we were reviewing
people
Citizen
singular.
Kane this week.
I am your host, Rose Piper, joined by Jamie Big Dutch Kirk.
Big Dutch himself.
Man, this kind of rules this mic sharing setup. We should say that's happening.
Yeah.
We only have 4 mics for 5 people, so occasionally I just get to sit back and drink beers
Yeah.
and laugh at you off mic.
And I'm Andrew Hastings.
Oh, my
And we're
God.
joined by 2 very special guests.
Yeah.
One of them has been a guest on the show before. One of them is fresh to the show. Alex White. Yeah, the oft-mentioned Ben Squires and Alex White are here.
Yeah,
Hello, everybody in Radioland. That's how this
Hello
works.
out there. Yeah, so we shared an Airbnb with Hastos during the run, so we were witnesses to the crime.
I've got a 1-star rating now.
But so the preamble I wanted to bring up before Melbourne was the week before.
Yeah.
The Wednesday of the week before.
Yeah.
Me and Hastings did a gig called Magic Mike, King's Cross.
Yeah.
And so we're both on that show, and Ray Cashman was hosting. Ray Cashman goes on, it's sort of warming up. And he brings on Hastings on, I think you were on first or second, I can't remember, but he brings him on as, give it up everyone for the big dog, Andrew Hastings, which is like an old nickname, which
He
doesn't-
gave himself.
Yeah, it's like an ironic. I know that I shouldn't be. For someone else to call me
There
that
was
makes-
no irony in it when you used to say that. There was not a drop of it.
So we're calling Jamie Big Dutch, which started last night or Thursday.
I'm loving that.
It's already got more traction than Big Dog. It's way-
7 years of Big Dog. It's not
To
going
speak
away.
to the irony in it, when I started comedy, did not think there was a trace of irony in it.
Exactly.
But also the Big Dutch nickname came from like us.
Yes.
Whereas Big Dog
Big
came
Dog
out of your
was
own mouth.
self-enforced.
Big Dog didn't stick.
Look, I didn't realize
Yeah.
there was a deep dive into the Big Dog.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
But the funny one was, he goes, Ray Cashman goes, this guy, yeah, give it up, is Big Dog Andrew Hastings. So the crowd are like, all right, he's a bit of an alpha male coming up on stage. So anyway,
Then enter the dweeb.
enter the dweeb. He walks on stage.
You got the dud.
Exactly. He walks on stage and he's like, Big Dog, I haven't heard that in a while anyway. And he starts doing Secretly Fat and he looks down and his fly's undone.
Yeah.
Pulls his fly up, middles out, doesn't recover. Me and Steph go under, great. Anyway, next day, you don't have a gig. I've already checked this with you. You didn't have a gig on the Thursday. Okay? The day after's a Friday. Me, Hastings, Jamie Kirk, Drew Bensley, all drive down to Gosford. We're staying the night there. We're doing Gosford Sailing Club. We're like, this is going to be a shit gig, but whatever, we'll have a bit of fun. We go there. We walk in. It's fucking electric. Jamie, you were there. It was a fucking hot night.
It was packed.
It was packed.
It was a hot room. It was a hot room.
Rich, smart, but old and rich. Like, they were very into it and drunk. And
They were
Very drunk.
Very
They were
drunk,
very
like-
drunk. It's one of the drunkest audiences I've ever seen.
but
Yeah.
in the best way. They were rowdy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jamie, the show's going great. Jamie goes on, crushes. Like, I go on. It's one of those we're crushing so hard you have to wait for them to stop laughing.
Yeah, I had to pause my set a couple of times.
It was like
and threaten
electric.
people.
So Jamie crushes. I crush. Hastings goes on, walks on, Secretly Flat. His fly's undone. 2 gigs in a row. 2 in a row.
Yeah.
It has been like 4 days since he's done a gig without his fly being undone.
It's like I go get match fit for Melbourne.
Exactly. Anyway, Drew Bensley goes on after Annihilates. Like they're not fading. They were just like, why?
Yeah, I middled out pretty hard after
Yeah,
that.
he middled out that, and it's like 2 gigs in a row, flies undone. What's going through your head at that point?
I think I'm just getting fat, and it's putting pressure on the fly.
Secret's out. basically.
Just because there's about to be an onslaught, I'll empathise.
Oh,
with
about
you.
to be great.
Yeah. This is just the
I don't
beginning,
have to
baby.
be here. I've
This is just-
volunteered to be here.
Yeah, Jamie and I are sharing a mic. What we should have done was just sat Andy here without a mic,
Yeah.
and then at the end just given him the right of reply.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't enjoy this.
Objection, Your Honour. You know, that's all his last name.
Withheld.
It's
But
fucked.
no, I Sydney Comedy Festival last year. I was doing I think it was the second night of my show, and I went out and it was like the best show of the run. It was so good. I went outside, kind of talked to people, and then hurried round the. Jamie is now sort of patting Andy's back. I went around the corner to watch the end of the Swans game with Tom Sanderson, and I sat in the chair and looked down and realised that my festival pass was still around my neck.
Yeah.
And I did the entire show with the fucking pass.
That's
around
pretty
my neck,
lame.
which is just a lame.
I thought
shit
somehow
football.
this story was going to end with anyway. Then Hastings' fly was down.
I can't speak.
It
It is obvious. It's a fat thing. As Big Dutch myself, I've had many zip fly fall undone just because of the sheer weight of what's above it pressing down. So you
fly's
need to get some bigger pants, or you can. There's a trick with a safety pin, which I haven't done because that feels like really admitting defeat.
There's a trick you can do where
It's called button flies.
yeah,
Get
you can
them.
get a keyring thing. You can attach it to the end of the zipper, and you hook that over the.
There's also
the
a
top
trick you can do
button.
called diet and exercise.
Yeah. Or getting pants your size.
Yeah, Hastings is Seinfeld in that episode where he's constantly like, "No, I'm still 30. It's fine."
I am a size 30.
But I just love that. And
No,
then,
you're not.
and you flew to Melbourne the next day, and then you had your Sunday show.
yeah.
Did you check your flight?
I checked my fly before I walked on stage.
You got the fucking hat trick.
Yeah.
That's the end.
I did check my fly. I did not, however, check my ticket sales. I did not.
Well, me and Squires did.
Yeah,
So more backstory.
Due to some clerical error in the festival, we had access to Hastings' ticket report. The entire.
Which was to great mirth from me and, of course, Jamie Kirk, who was like,
I was getting your ticket reports daily, dude.
Jamie's like, how's Melbourne? I'm like, good. How's Hastings going? Bad. And it was really funny because you have to, the ticket report, you log on to this thing, and then it just came up Ben, Alex, and so me and Squires did a show, and then it was Hastings' show, and you click on the report, and it wouldn't just show the numbers, you had to download a PDF onto your computer and then open it. And the internet in our Airbnb was really, really slow. But when we downloaded Hastings' report, it was very quick. It really didn't take very long at all. It was all instantaneous because there was no data in there.
Yeah.
2 kilobytes.
Yeah, it was 2 kilobytes. It looked like binary because it was 0, 1, 0, 1. I do have it somewhere here, but it is.
You got like a
I can give you the
screenshot.
phone
I have
numbers.
the PDFs.
Oh,
I'm
baby,
going to
baby.
send them to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, Hastings, do you mind? We are going to post a picture of this ticket sales thing on the social media
I
accounts.
guess that's fine.
So-
We also are going to post a photo next to that of you with your fly undone.
Can we just note that doesn't include door
And
sales?
we got
Sorry.
Yeah,
what
it
we've
doesn't
got to
include the
do
door.
is get a photo of him with the fly undone, with the ticket sales coming out of the open fly.
So
It doesn't include door sales.
One or two.
A night?
No, for one night. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
First show. Capacity 25, issued 0, sold 0.
I sold some on the door that night.
All of them capacity 25, let's be clear. Second show, issued 2, sold 2. So issued is any free tickets included and sold is the dollars. Third show, is issued 0, sold 0. Then 2 and 2, 0 and 0.
Yeah.
So it's basically you've sold 4 tickets and you're 5 shows in.
Yes.
So you've got...
That is correct,
That is
counsellor.
correct, Your Honour.
Yes.
These numbers correct. And then you go 2, Five. So you have a couple of... Okay, so to be clear, you've got 2 shows or you got 5 issued.
They're just free tickets given away by my flyer.
Imagine a run where you sold 5 tickets and that's like a really good turnout for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's horrible.
But also, that was 5.
It was, yeah.
But those
That's a
2
great
shows
time.
were 5 tickets issued, 0 sold.
Yeah.
So those
But
5 people didn't pay.
some of those tickets they did come through at least. And I sold a couple on the door that night.
So overall, the capacity of your 10 shows was 250. You gave away... You had 23 people who took tickets, but only 8 of them paid.
Yes.
So you had 8 tickets sold out of a capacity of 250
I believe
tickets sold.
that's something like 2.5%.
Right. Okay.
And how much is your wedding going to cost you?
About $35,000.
And how much did you lose doing Melbourne International Comedy Festival?
About $4,000.
And how much money do you have? What did you have before Melbourne International Comedy Festival?
Oh, I don't know. I got paid like the day before I went. I just spent my
Okay,
paycheck
so about
that night.
$2,000.
Yeah, probably about $2,000.
Is this kind of your way of letting me know I'm not going to get the Airbnb?
You'll get the Airbnb money.
That was the other funny thing, is because we're all doing a show and Hastings is like, oh, we got to get an Airbnb. Group chat with me and Squires. When are we booking this Airbnb? When are you booking this Airbnb? Every week. Hey, what's going on with the Airbnb? And then it's like, you book it, dude. You know, like what? And then so Squires goes, all right, fine. I'll just book it. You book it. It costs what, $600 deposit?
Yeah.
And then you say it's $200 each, and Hastings like, I don't have any money. He's like, I've got like $100 to my name. Squires is just in debt.
That happened last year as well, actually.
Yeah.
Hastings was on Hastings and Charlie were on payment plans with
I
me.
still owe the venue money as well. I owe them like $100.
Didn't you try and get out of paying the venue last year?
I did. It nearly worked.
If it weren't for those meddling kids.
How did you try and
those
get out?
meddling checking their bank accounts?
Yeah, changing your name.
So you're like thinking like we're gonna live like a king. You only need 6 tickets a night to break even. We're gonna have this sweet pad where all the fans are gonna want to fuck, and you make Squiresy do it all.
Yeah.
You don't come close to breaking even.
No. I knew I was never going to break even. That was pretty much
To
impossible.
be fair, like me and Squizzy had a pretty good run, but we didn't break even either. Like
No,
we had
not by any stretch.
we
of the
had a
imagination.
couple up and down shows. Like we had one show to one person who was Squizy's Tinder date.
Yeah, let's tell that story.
Yeah.
That's
But
definitely.
this is a great story because it's like everything goes wrong for Squizy, and he still pulls it out of the fire. I feel, you know. So you tell the story. So you were flying for our show.
Yeah, I was like,
No one feels like Squiresy's like a sad case, so we have to do a whole podcast about.
No, but that's
This
the thing.
Squires wins in this story.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. I'm just backing your argument.
Yeah.
But like that night we'd sold a couple of tickets, I think. So we were like, this is going to be okay. It might not be the best show. And I was like out flyering, and some people were taking the flyers. Most of the people are looking at me like I'm a fucking moron. So I'm like, all right, I'll probably need to take a bathroom break now. I go into a public toilet. I step on human feces. I go out. I'm
Where in the toilet was the human feces?
it was kind of like around the bowl, so I didn't really notice it when I was sort of like walking around. I probably should have been paying
Was this the
more
ones that are like
attention.
under Town Hall?
No, they're kind of like on Burke Street.
All right. Because those ones that are like under Town Hall are just fucking disgusting.
Someone missed the bowl. Shake
Yeah,
shit.
essentially.
They got so close. There's not like
But I reckon it's because people are like they're in like a really disgusting, shitty public toilet, so they're like hovering over and then just go. And, well, that wasn't solid.
Yeah. So it was my feces. I mean, that's an important part of the story I've been leaving out. It was, I don't know, that bowl is pretty small. It's hard to aim. But yeah, I get out and I'm thinking, okay, well, flyering's not working.
But
But
you'd already hooked up the Tinder date to come, right?
well, she sent me a message like as I was flying, being like, "Do you want to get a drink tonight?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm doing a show at this weird bar that no one's ever heard of apparently in Melbourne. Do you want to come?" And she was like, "Okay." So she came. And no one else did.
Yeah. So we had 4. I think we had 4 tickets sold,
Yeah.
and we're like, oh, plus your date. That's fine. That'll be 5. That'll be great. And Squizzy, didn't you have to go get spray deodorant from the fucking?
Oh yeah, that's what else I did. I had to get some deodorant from the Woolies around the corner. I just sprayed my shoe. Just to make sure.
I would have thought the more obvious thing to do would have been like wet wipes.
Yeah.
Look, hindsight's 2020, man.
I didn't have the presence of mind.
I think they've got a whole can of deodorant to just spray your shoes.
You could also like get like a cheap pair of shoes for $15 from Kmart. Like you could have just changed out the
Yeah,
shoes.
this all happened like half an hour before the show. So
This is probably only our 3rd show, so it's not like we
Yeah.
really were in the rhythm of the show.
Yeah.
And then we turn up, and then she was there, and she was really nice, and she was just like, pottering around, and we're like, where are these other people? And they just didn't turn up. And I think I said to you, do you want to do this as like your date for the night to one person? And you're like, we're not cancelling the show, let's do it. And then we did it. It was a fucking great show.
It was a pretty good
Squires
show.
refusing to cancel the show, I think, is interesting. I would have absolutely cancelled that show.
I was like, I'm not going to pressure him to do the show. You know what I mean? Like, I would have happily
Wasn't
cancelled.
she pretty encouraging that you should do the show?
Yeah, she wanted us to do the show.
She was very keen, which is like, that helped. But she was really...
Did she know you'd stepped in human shit?
No.
Okay.
You didn't mention that to her?
I didn't tell her.
I
no.
would have.
Yeah.
Just in case she smelled something.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you can give your input into Squires. You, by the way, successfully had a date with her afterwards. Just like critiquing from the back seat. I would have told her I smelled like shit. That's how I would have closed
I
the
walk
deal.
into the day covered in human shit. My fly's undone. I've cancelled the show already.
This is my best ticket numbers yet, baby.
One, I don't want to do it.
Strap yourself in.
But it's crazy doing like the sort of first date conversation tropes to someone you've just crowd walked for 45
The other thing is like, so Squires' set, like at the moment at least, the first like 10 minutes is very much like, I live in a shitty house, I've got a shitty apartment, I've got all these it's like the worst impression you want to make on a date.
Yeah,
You know what
also,
I mean?
like, I'm a loser who got dumped in public.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
I have no money in my bank account.
And so it's like he's really like copping all this heat to fuck up this date. Do you know what I mean? Like show to one person, smells like shit potentially, telling her he's such a loser, and then she loves it, and then you go out on a date with her and nail it. There you go.
Squires' material is Andrew Hastings Melbourne Comedy Festival, right?
Yeah, Squires went into a Hastings simulator.
Oh my god, he's gone off the grid. He's somehow making this an unwinnable game work.
You know, like in Sully, where they make him do the, you know, the plane, the Brooklyn, they ditch
Hudson.
the plane in the Hudson, and it's just like the most fucked up thing. You land all the geese in the fucking engines, and you still landed on the runway. That's Squires.
That was my favorite moment.
Whereas
yeah.
Hastings is like the Atari 2600 version of E.T., where every
Buried
direction
in
you
this
step,
fucking
there's a
desert.
game-breaking bug. You can't win it.
Is this your way of telling me that you're going to bury me in a desert somewhere?
Yeah, with 1,000 other copies of you that I've
1,000
made.
copies of me just buried in a fucking
Hastings
desert.
is Sideshow Bob with the rakes. At this point. Oh man, but that was our like worst. Well, we had bad shows, but
We
that
had
was
some
like
that was like
that was where like the things were put against us, and we had a good show.
Yeah.
But then like so Hastings, your shows like starting off, you had no sales.
Yeah.
Right? We already like.
I can
now,
confirm this,
what-
yes.
He's
now,
even in a pretty good mood at the moment.
What?
No.
What did you do to fix that situation?
To fix it?
Having no sales.
I mean, there's not a lot you can do, really. It was paying a flyer. What? There's not. I put a lot of money on Facebook marketing. It didn't do anything. I was paying a flyer every night. That didn't do much. I gave away some tickets to a metal night. They came through, actually. They were all right.
Did you fly yourself?
Like once.
You said that this is the first show that you did that wasn't with the like strong emo brand.
Yes, that's true.
Do you actually genuinely, honestly believe that if it had been, then it would have gone much better?
I don't know about much better, but it definitely would have gone better. Like undoubtedly gone better.
So let's address one of the things I think might have hurt you. Was that
yeah, this is a minor gripe.
about halfway through the
Anyway,
festival.
you may have noticed if you follow Andrew Hastings on Instagram, a few kind of qualifiers popping up in his story.
So about halfway through the festival, someone was flyering for you.
Yeah.
And they gave a flyer to the lady, and she looked at the flyer, and
She was very upset.
She said, "Oh my God, why would I go to a show with a poster that has a woman being punched in the face?" And to qualify that, Hastings in the poster is getting punched in the face by Squires off shot.
That was a
But-
candid shot.
But you've got long hair, and it looks like a woman is being punched in the face.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me that I have feminine features, and yeah, it looks like a woman getting punched in the fucking face. I
So
guess
potentially dozens of
And
people.
as a double whammy,
Apparently,
you
like,
look like a woman.
apparently, like every night, someone was like, "That's a woman getting punched in the face," and like she had to like try and convince people that it wasn't.
The funny part that is
And the show is called A Vulgar Display of Comedy.
Flying
on the
is a
back foot.
non-effective
Yeah,
strategy at the best of times.
Flying sucks as it is, but you have to be like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" By the way, this is not a woman being punched in the face. It's not shit on my shoe.
Yeah, it's a 40-minute walk from here.
But like for anyone who doesn't get it, like the show name is a terrible pun on the name of the album, A Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera, a band you don't even like.
Not particularly, no. I don't really give a shit about groove metal.
Just because the like album cover looks quite cool because it's someone legitimately getting like
it's a fucking sick album
absolutely
cover.
decked in the face. But you've now like made so many people think that you're fucking like a woman beater.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so we now know that the flyer was maybe not a good idea.
Yeah.
Why is the show called that, and why that? Let's work back. Why did you choose that image?
So, because when I named the show, because you got to name the show so far in advance, I was writing a lot of like grubby material.
Mm-hmm.
I actually since eased off on the grubby material, but I thought it was going to be an hour mostly of like real grotty stories and shit. So it has the word vulgar in it. Vulgar display of comedy, that fits. I think it's a cool visual image. I think those two things synced up nicely.
Okay.
Why not? I thought it was like a fine idea.
And can I ask
Obviously,
one more
I didn't
thing?
think it through.
And can I ask one more thing quickly? I believe that a couple of other people didn't respond well to your description of you being an aging sex reptile, was it?
So the first line of the show description is the copy for the show.
Who wrote that?
The mind behind Butt Baby.
The SEO on that.
The opening line is disgusting sex reptile and aging emo Andrew Hastings is coming to Melbourne, blah, blah, blah.
And people did not respond well to that either. Correct?
No. People thought it was funny who knew me.
Yeah, but were there actual people being like, I don't like that
No,
copy?
so, okay, Daisy, who was helping me with some of my marketing stuff and some of my flyering stuff, she got quite drunk one night, and because I think she felt quite bad that sales weren't converting when she was doing my flyers, and she got quite drunk and she got quite frustrated with me and was like, just why the fuck would you put that in? It's the worst show description I've ever read. I thought it was funny.
Was I putting a swastika on your flyer?
Yeah.
Like, it's the Indian symbol. It goes back a long time.
Yeah.
It's not Nazi.
Yeah, we just had a rotation issue, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Ben Caution one year, his show description was just the instructions for how to fix a leaky tap. That's funny.
Yeah. All right.
Funny part is you had. So I opened for you one night.
Yeah.
And the two people who came were actually pretty cool. Right?
Every show was good except the last
So-
show. Every show I did.
You had some people.
Of
who
course, the last one was
came.
bad.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a minute. But
We'll save the last show for the final part, I think.
so I find it funny that you had some people come, like two people, and they got along and they enjoyed your comedy, right?
Yeah.
But they were people who saw a woman getting punched in the face on the flyer and turned up to your show. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the sort of people who resonate with Hastings as a comedian.
I wonder what this disgusting sex reptile's about to drop on
This
us.
bitch getting punched in the face. Yeah. All right, I'm into it. All right, I love Pantera.
Whoa! In terms of like strike rate per audience member, this has easily been my highest run. Like the shows were great. Almost every audience member saw me.
2
were
laughs
into
each.
it. Yeah, like it was great. 2 people loving it per show. So it's like, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe just.
Did
fucking,
you notice anyone in the audience like kind of be like, oh shit, that's the girl from the Fly?
No, I don't think. I
Did
noticed
anyone
that.
say anything to you personally afterwards?
A few people who recognized the album cover were like, "That's a fucking sick flyer, bro." Anyone who recognized it thinks it's a sick flyer, and I still do.
You know how teachers always say that thing about like, if I could change just one life. Is that like your MO for comedy? Is like, if I could make just one person laugh.
Then I'd have a successful show tonight.
Didn't you do a show to someone who was vision impaired and you just had a major gaffe at the start?
Yeah. Okay. So what happened was.
Oh, I remember this. This is great.
That yourself.
All right. So the show starts. It's 2 people in the audience. One of them is clearly blind. He's got like
Like fully blind?
he's got the stick and stuff. I don't know how. Like I don't know the degree of his blindness, but it's whatever. He's there, and I walk on stage, and I'm so deep in the riff on these shows because I'm doing 20 minutes crowd work per night. Go up there, first words out of my mouth is, thanks for coming to see me tonight. Well, not see me.
All right.
Literally the first words for an hour, 2 people. It was that guy and his maid. And I spend the next 20 minutes digging out of that hole. But man, honestly,
any choice gems that he used to try and get
I
out of
didn't
it?
reference the blindness again for the rest of the show. But it was, it was a great show by the end of it. I definitely got him.
Oh, man.
I'm a very good comedian.
Okay. All right. You can edit that part, Jenny. So I messaged.
You've got all these notes.
No, I messaged the guy
right.
who was doing sound the whole time, Ryan. which was a lovely man.
He seemed a bit tense during the festival.
Wait, hold on. You've messaged him since the festival.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Ryan, he was by the way, Ryan Howlett, he was a great dude.
He's the best.
He
was my rock.
Organising it, and he did the door and sound, and he was a great dude for us. So I just said, hey, look, we're doing this podcast about Hastings. And to be honest, he doesn't shit on you. It's very diplomatic, but he sat and watched every show, correct?
Yes.
And I said, do you have any highlights or lowlights or what's your perspective of Hastings' show? And he's like, incredible. I definitely don't want to kick a man while he's down.
Fuck, man. Oh, God.
But
Again, I don't have to be here.
well, you can leave. It's still funny.
Yeah.
He is being quite diplomatic. But he says, I saw Hastings was pretty self-aware of the uphill struggle marketing can be. And Round's an artist as well, so he sort of gets it. And he's like, especially when your poster looks like a woman being punched in the face.
And did he know about that independently? Or?
Well, I
think I told him.
Yeah.
I think I told him.
It'd be funny if he just extrapolated.
He did say that he definitely made people laugh. It sucked no one saw it. So he was being nice. And he said brief highlights would be him taking a date to the show and making it open for him. So I thought he maybe thought Rachel was a date or something like that. And you're just like taking a date and then making her do 5 up top, which is great.
No, I did do that.
Ooh, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, different comedian.
Right,
Yeah.
All right. Okay, different comedian.
Well, we hooked up, and then I was like, wait, hold on. I don't have an opener tonight. Do you want to open for me? So I went down. She came and opened for me. It was great.
Man.
It was a lot of fun.
And then he's like, as well as doing multiple shows to a couple while discussing polyamory, I think many people thought he was trying to organise a threesome.
Oh, man, it must seem that way, right? Where it's like, actually, it's great.
I'm open, it's fine, hey, what are you guys doing,
Because the room itself had a weird group.
Yeah, there was it had a swingers vibe. Yeah.
There's like
there were
one
vines.
door that's like-
Did
It
it
was
ever
like hidden behind the bar.
Yeah.
Did it ever cross your mind that you could have some fun?
No, not on this run. Other runs I've been like that audience member, sure. But no, not this run, not at all.
He does say, and again, we'll talk about this in a minute, but he says low light, his last show, and he says a few things that happened in the last show about your fiance and a certain Tom Sanderson. But then he ends it with saying, and that's as much I can think of. I'm sure Hastings learned a heap, and I sincerely hope he doesn't top himself. Please leave me when it's done. But he's, being funny. But no, Ryan was the best. So I thought that would be that was from him. He sat and watched every show. And to be honest, I did open for you one time, and it was a good vibe. I think you had no numbers most of it, but the shows weren't.
It was fine. The shows were good.
Yeah. So
Imagine having to watch someone who's inadvisably doing their first hour or something like that, and having a run like that every night. That'd be fucking horrifying.
yeah, I think
to
that's
sit
the
through
thing.
that.
I think at least you had the experience of festivals to do the show, where it's
Is that your way of trying to compliment Hastings? Just be like, imagine if there was someone worse.
Yeah, there's a parallel universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I do think I was the right man for the job.
I've spoken to
Dirty jobs,
I've spoken to a couple of I spoke to a couple of people in Sydney while you guys were gone. I was talking about Hastings Run, having a big laugh. And
thanks, man.
sometimes they would take a swipe and then they'd look at me and be like, "Oh, but you're a fan of Hastings, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, you went too fucking far, my boy."
Yeah, just to be clear, we all are Hastings friends at this point.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want everyone
yeah.
to be like, you're being very mean.
Although he did very earnestly say that he wished we'd be nicer to him in the group chat.
I also like that you just qualified it with "at this point." It may change.
Oh, yeah. It's on a knife edge day to day. But the other thing I just want to point out maybe before we get in is the fact that me, Squires, and Hastings all worked remotely from Melbourne.
Yes.
Out on our jobs in Sydney.
Yeah.
It was so
9 to
fascinating
5.
to see the different
Work ethics.
maybe, but just what our jobs entail.
I'm a very professional young
You
man.
and I, for whatever reason, just kept kind of walking places together, and every time you would just be like, "He's done no work."
That was the best part, is that you get up, you just potter around, you play your Switch, and then you're like, "Oh, fuck, I've got to do fucking work." And you get on a phone call for 4 minutes, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's great. All right, hang up, Switch." Every day, and you're so angry you had to go on a phone call, working getting paid the whole time. No annual leave.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Did you feel like 6 months notice, like tick over during?
Yeah, I got my past probation while I was in
Yeah.
Melbourne.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude, I'm employed. They can't get rid of me, dude.
Jesus
I reckon
Christ.
if they listen to this though, they might give you your first official warning.
Look, I got everything I needed to get done.
We
done.
need to change these IR laws in this country. We should be able to play the Hastings clause and fire someone after probation.
Yeah.
If they go to a festival run like that and don't do any work. Because like, me and Squires were working like not super hard, but fuck me, like we were trying a little bit.
Yeah, there was a lot of naps. I was napping pretty heavily.
Yeah. And so
Dude,
yeah,
I went around to your Airbnb one night and you had a nap at like 6 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of ketamine while I was down there, and it really takes it out of you. You know?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Really? Doing a lot of horse trank takes it out of you?
Well, I still have 3 hours before the show, so
Yeah, that did happen.
So it was, I don't know. It was pretty fun the whole time.
I'd say something genuinely sweet and not about Hastings comedy, but like, because I didn't see the show.
Alright.
I'm going to see it on Wednesday. But the day I
you
got
won't need any horse tranquilizer. So.
the day I got there, I came to your Airbnb to drop off my bags with Amy, and as I stepped in and said hi to Alex, the door. All right, so we're back again.
We're back.
We missed a short
Testing.
thing. We forgot to look at how much space was on the SD
Mayday.
card.
Yeah.
So the last thing that happened was that I visited the guy's Airbnb, and I got there and the door flung open. Hastings heard my voice and said, "Is that Jamie Kirk's voice?" and ran towards me and hugged me. It was
Look,
very nice.
it was a tough run, and I needed a friendly face.
yeah. It was like.
And then
fun.
Alex proceeded to just show me a bunch of sales reports. of your show.
It was like Castaway when he sees the boat. You know what I mean? It was like, I'm stuck on this island, I see a friend, and then Jamie turned on him very quickly. Once I showed him.
In a loving way.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the one other story that we started to tell before was the 5:30 show.
Yeah.
Which I think, like, if any gig could sum up your experience, it's this gig.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell it, I
Alright.
think, because you can...
Yeah.
Give us the
Okay,
details.
so I was booked to do the 5:30 show, which is on at 5:30.
Side note, you should interject because you had some good commentary on it earlier.
Oh, my God.
So I was booked to do the 5:30 show, which is a showcase show that's on at 5:30 every day, except Sundays where it's on at 4:30. It's run by our good friend Andrew Bensley and his brother Danny Bensley. So I was booked to do that. It was kind of a favor that Drew was doing for me. Like I was kind of
Yeah,
great.
he definitely threw, threw a bit of weight, and your spot was on, his reputation was on the line a little bit.
A little bit. He was doing me a favor by giving me that spot.
Yes.
Anyway, so I'm there due at 4:30 because it was a Sunday show. I find out that I'm supposed to be there at 4:15 because that's when so the backstage is past where the audience are, so the comics need to be there well before the audience, so that.
But I mean, at most gigs, you should be there 15 minutes before the show
No,
starts.
for sure. Festivals, I think it's a little different. I don't know, whatever.
But also, this is a
think it's a
festival
Melbourne
managed.
thing.
But it is a festival managed venue show in Town Hall. It's run as professional as Tom Ballard's show. Like it's run that professional. They've got proper people ushering and everything, and they get.
They're paying like $6,000 for the venue.
One of the shows I did, went over by 3 minutes, and they got a talking to about it. The Bensley boys, so they're very militant about that sort of shit.
So I'm supposed to be there at 4:15. Me and Alex obviously staying together. Alex is also on the show. Alex leaves at about 4 o'clock, and I'm like, I reckon I'll be fine. I leave.
I get a coffee and then get there by 4:20, and I walk in, and Drew's looks at me like,
That's why Hastings was still at home, waiting for 4:20.
yeah. I walk in, and Drew looks at me like relieved that we're here because I'm even a little bit late. I'm like 5 minutes late, and then he looks past me and realizes Hastings isn't with me. He's like, "Where's Hastings?" I'm like, "I don't know. He's somewhere."
I was playing
In the-
Switch on the couch.
He was in his
What game?
boxes on the
Zelda. I'm replaying Zelda.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah. So then I go in, whatever. I don't care. This is on you, Drew. So I go in the backstage area, and then you come fumbling in like Kramer at the end, just
Yeah.
like sweating.
Yeah, about 4:28.
4:28. So they've got
I
that.
ran the last couple hundred meters.
They've got the whole audience of like 60 people in like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
The backstage
dude.
is pitch black. They have to. It's like this cupboardy thing. It's pitch black there. You can't see. And so Stucky goes on MCs.
Like he goes on, and it's like he's struggling a bit. Like it's a tough night.
It's tough. He's doing well.
He's doing well.
But it's obviously not.
How many people in the audience?
Like maybe like 50.
Yeah.
It's like-
It's not like the show's doing like,
It's just 4:30 in the afternoon.
This will build. It's like,
Yeah.
this will build, this will go
Yeah,
okay.
it was like just the start of it.
No one felt it was going to be a bad gig. And then
Yeah.
Hastings going on first.
And yeah, I middled out pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. I think you did like, this is, by the way, it's a 4:30 show. So it's a 5:30 show at 4:30 at Town Hall. So the demographics are very much like old people, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, what should we see? Oh, I don't know. Let's go see that. It's dinner time at 5. Like that's no one who's like your demographic and not going to a fucking 4:30 comedy show.
No,
4:30
they're not.
Disgusting
AM,
sex
not PM.
reptiles are not going
And you
to
do
the show.
going down on
They're
chicks.
at home fucking doing ketamine and
Yeah.
switch.
They're having a nap, ketamine nap. So you're doing like going down on chicks' jokes. You're doing fucking fingering each other in meat freezers and stuff. And honest to God, I swear to God, I was blown away at how well you did. To be honest, like you middled out, and I'm like, how is this happening? You're having a
Very good comedian.
No, but like all the things in alignment. I'm like, how are you not like absolutely eating it right now? And you actually did okay. Like
Yeah, I
you
did fine.
Not a
Like-
Hastings fine, like a normal
was
fine,
An actual
a
fine.
normal fine.
So a Hastings crush.
Yeah. I was surprised you didn't come up and just start flexing and going, yeah, got him, baby.
I think that's not what I do.
So I go on and do my set next, and then I have to go flyer in the hallway, and so I have to like leave the backstage, and I realize I didn't have my jumper, so I text Ace and say, hey, can you grab my jumper?
While all
Before I
this is
leave-
happening, all the camera people and all the people on the 5:30 show, I can tell they're pissed at me. Like, I can tell the vibe in the room is everyone's very mad at me.
Yeah, it's like everything's very stressed, and it's like, oh my fucking God, what was that? So then I go off, I'm in the hallway, and then Drew's on stage.
Did you stick to time?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I know
okay.
Drew was very strict about that, and I did stick to time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
It was like think of it like doing the store. Like, it's like being like that. That's how like rigid the show is. As
Yeah.
much as it is our friend running it, it's like they're so time pressured that it's like
Yeah.
you got to. If you're 30 seconds over, you fucked up. You know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And if you're
I did.
7
I
minutes
stuck to
late,
time.
you're an
I
idiot.
think I did about 4:45 of a 5-minute spot.
Well, I guess you got to do one thing right on the whole run.
Well, it was also, I'm just like, well, I can't fuck this up. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that I already knew I was in trouble.
So then I go out in the hallway, eyes up flying, text him, can you grab my jumper? He's like, what does it look like? I said this, it's pitch black backstage.
Yeah.
Drew's on stage at this point.
He is, yes.
And what happens?
So the jumper was next to a box of martini glasses that were for the show afterwards. I don't know why that guy was just leaving a box of martini
what
glasses.
show was it? Did you
Can't
find out?
remember.
Josh Glang.
Yeah, it was just Glenn.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know why he had a whole box of martini glasses. I don't know what he was using them for. But I dropped him in a bunch smashed.
It's a
Apparently-
Three Stooges sketch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is like, it's...
apparently just
That's
enough
calamitous.
didn't smash that the show was fine. Like it was just
But-
it was like the absolute max that I could smash without it causing an actual problem is what I did.
But like, did he come asking like who smashed my glasses?
He was there. Like he came when the show was done. I was like, and he was like, "It's fine. I have enough. It's not."
But
Right.
Drew's on stage. He's already a bit like, fuck, I booked Hastings. He's late. He bombed. And then this guy, and then he's on stage and you just hears this like, backstage. And you can just
in
imagine.
like a pretty slick environment.
But like, he couldn't see, but you know that he just thought, I bet that was Hastings. Like, it's like in his mind, he's just like, that was 100% fucking Hastings to do that.
yeah,
and then-
that is true.
And like, yeah, I mean, I think Drew was okay, but like, you really didn't make a great first impression.
No, I won't be asking for that spot again next year.
I don't think you would be getting it if you did.
But $8.50 espresso martinis, Melbourne,
Oh,
Melbourne,
man.
$8.50
That actually-
espresso martinis.
That was
Doing
something. That was
right
something that
with
we
the
should talk
economy
about.
down there.
That like.
Yeah, I was trying to naturally segue in. but
Yeah,
that's-
that is one of the saddest like photos I've ever seen because I was going through like Instagram stories or whatever,
Yeah.
and you've posted like a photo of an espresso martini and being like, yeah, baby, like cheap espresso martini in Melbourne, and then like the next thing was like Steph Broadbridge's Instagram or something like that, or someone else
Broadbridge, yeah.
that like had taken the photo, and it was just a photo of you sitting alone at a table, like slumped over, looking at your phone with an espresso martini sitting next to you. It's like the saddest image
Well,
I've ever seen.
Like the actual backstory to that is I was just meeting Drew and Steph, and I was just there first. But yes, it was a very tragic. Me sitting there by myself drinking an espresso martini was particularly tragic. It was a grim sight. But no,
It's just a cool festival vibe in the city.
Oh, man.
What else is on your list that you're volunteering to?
I just got stuff that happened after you guys left. Oh, we can talk about the last show.
Is that
we
the
should talk
very
about
end?
Well, that's because what happened to me after the last show is the next bit.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll do it chronologically. So the last show, right?
Do you want me to cop to being a loser for a night?
Yes.
First?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I turned 30 a few days before I came down, and I was having a bit of a party weekend, and on the Saturday night, festivities got the best of me, and I had purchased some MDMA caps from someone.
Sick, dude.
Illegal.
And definitely went around making promises to go to everyone's shows that I didn't go to.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. One of whom was Rachel Malanta. That will come up later.
I got no stories about Rachel. That's our show. It was great.
No, like...
Oh, right. It comes up in your story.
Yeah. And she was like so appreciative that I was like, yeah, I'll come and watch your show and like tell you it's good and all that.
She was appreciative that I actually went to a show.
Weren't you flying out of Melbourne like at 10 a.m. the next day or something?
It was earlier than that. This was a Saturday night and I was leaving on the Monday morning, but it was quite early on the Monday. So the joy of MDMA got the best of me as well, and then I just, for whatever reason, no, not for whatever reason, it was because I got given money for my birthday, which was just in my wallet.
Sick.
And someone was, shouldn't name them, but like someone that we all know I was out with, and she was like, I'd love to get some Coke, but I have no like cash on me. And I was like, here's $300 cash right here.
Yeah.
And because I paid for it all.
Sue Thomas, you devil.
Stop hanging around too.
But because I paid for it all, I kind of took ownership of it and thus did most of it. But this purchase also occurred at, I would say, 5:30.
Yeah, that's
6 a.m. Like real bad.
Wowza.
So we ended up.
What did you get? What did you get? How'd you hook this up? So
We went to some other bar after Festival Club, and she just knew someone there who was
right.
just selling it. So we did a lot of that, and then me and a couple other comics ended up going to this like the seediest day club I've ever seen.
Oof.
It's like,
Is it the one down near Flinders Street Station?
I don't know,
Because I went there with Muggleton a couple of years ago.
I don't know. It was called like Click or something like that.
Yeah. It's fucking
real
rank.
bad.
Yeah.
It looks like something that would be in like a, those like action movies where they go to some underground club to like talk to the crime boss.
Yeah, the Matrix.
At the bottom. Yeah, it looks like something out of that. It was shocking, and I got home at 11 a.m., which is a shocking effort. Like, for the last half an hour, me and one of the comics were just literally just sitting in a park next to it, chain smoking darts, and being like, look at all these people going to work. We're having a great time, forgetting what I'd feel like after that.
Yeah.
I went home. I slept for probably 3.5 hours, and I woke up just this horrible, nightmarish, sweaty mess.
Yeah.
And then I had to come back in to give you back a festival pass
Damn
that I'd
right.
been borrowing.
I was very clear about needing that back.
Yeah, and I did it, but like, I was staying in Brunswick, and you guys were in the city, and it's like about like maybe an hour and a quarter walk or something like that.
Oof.
And
And an Uber, dude.
Yeah, I think
I felt like I needed to walk it off.
public transport options maybe.
I really felt like I needed
it's a
to.
4-hour egg roll, and I had no other option. So
I felt like I needed to walk it off. But anyway, I woke up and I was like, oh, there's still Coke left in the bag,
Sick.
and I'm not going out tonight. I just like physically can't if I'm going to get up for this flight tomorrow. So I just poured the rest of the contents out onto the fucking like kitchen bench.
Give it to us. What are you doing?
But I also realized that I needed that energy to get in there.
Right.
So I did this big old
Oh,
line
you
of.
did it right. I thought you were like throwing out the
No,
Coke.
no,
Yeah.
no. To be fair, there was a lot to be licked out of the bag, and I went, nah, fuck that, and threw that in the bin.
Yeah.
But I did a big old line.
I love licking the
and
bag.
then walked the whole way in, just like walking past Prince's Park with this like tremendously oscillating like kind of mood of like,
Yeah, sick.
like it was terrible. And then I got in there, relayed that story to Tom Sanderson. He was like, "Oh, sick, dude. So you're like high right now." I was like,
He's such a fucking loser.
to which I had to respond, "No, like I'm not even halfway. This didn't even me out."
Yeah.
But then I ran it,
Dude, you did drugs.
But then on the
Fucking loser.
like, I was literally,
All right, Hastings. Okay.
but I dropped the pass off. I dropped the pass off. I had like one beer to calm myself down. I was like, all right, now I've got to go home and I've got to go to sleep. And on the way back, I ran into Rachel Malanta, whose show I was supposed to be seeing in about 5 minutes. I was just like, I think I'm about to faint. I've got to go home. I'm sorry.
I've got to walk 4 hours.
I walked the whole way back as well.
It's a 4-day walk back to Sydney.
You know,
I already
Melbourne is a
started now.
famously well-connected city.
Oh man! But at least you didn't have to see Hastings' show.
I did.
It's a good show.
Oh wow!
So I'll tell the story of the last night of the show, right?
Right.
So every show I'd done...
That segued in nicely from my one
Yeah.
about drug use.
Yeah, so on the last show, right, every show had been somehow good. I'd been really lucky. Like, I know that I got really lucky.
And to be fair, ours was the same. We had a lot more ticket sales, but we had the big ticket sales were pretty bad shows, and the small ones were good shows.
Yeah.
So there was something good about everything. And then I think the last show, or one of the last shows we had a big audience and we had a good show. It was like the first time that happened.
Yeah, that's a nice way to finish.
We were having like ups and downs, but at least you were having like no people, and then you had 2 and it was fine.
Yeah, it was like good. Like I was like quite proud of myself. I was like honestly quite proud of how I performed over the course of that run, like on stage. I thought I was like really like I was quite happy with myself. Like in shitty situations, doing real well. Last show, there's 3 people in the audience, and I'm like, all right, I got to do it one more time, and then I'm good. And I can like I've almost had a kind of a super fucked up perfect game. Like,
Quit comedy.
yeah,
Just forever.
finally free of these shackles.
You just ascend to heaven.
So anyway, last show, right? And it's kind of fitting. So like for the first half an hour, it's like really on a razor's edge. I'm getting him, but it's just like I keep losing him and then getting him. Like fuck, this show's like it would be a shame to like do bad on the last show because it's built up as this thing, and it's like fuck, I think I've got him. It's like going pretty well. Literally halfway through.
You
the
also
show.
like, regardless of how long or short your festival run at any festival is, you never want the last show to be bad because it just makes
It
the
leads
rest.
to bad taste.
It's just like it's the abiding memory of like abject failure. It's terrible.
Exactly. Right. So I'm like, last show, this is important. It's I actually had tickets. I had people in. I had 3 people. I was like, cool, gonna do it. Teetering on the, it could have been great. It could have been bad. Half an hour, really like fucking just working. Like like when you're in that situation, you just like got to fucking put the work in, right? I'm doing that. But in storms at the 30-minute mark, in storms Tom Sanderson and my fiance Yvette, just storming in, which is fine. Like they just there to watch the show, no big deal.
Halfway through the show.
Halfway through the show, I'm like, that's a bit rude for them to come in halfway. They could have just waited.
How are
They've
they
all-
going to understand the second half hour if they haven't seen the first one?
Hold on, butt baby, what? This guy, is he fat or secretly fat? I don't understand.
But baby's not actually in the show.
But maybe he's not in the show.
Oh wow! Can you imagine?
Can you imagine not putting my baby in the show? All right, so I'm there, and I'm like, all right, well, they're there. That's fine. I'll just let them sit at the back, whatever.
Did they make a scene when they came in?
A little bit, but they were okay. It was fine.
Can we also just stress this is your fiance and one of your groomsmen? Okay, this is not 2 random punters. This is not your arch
These are
enemy.
two,
Yeah, and it
two
is-
of the closest people. 2 of the people I'm closest with in the world.
It's super hard to enter that venue too without sort of making noise
Yeah.
and making
Yeah, there's no
distractions
back
observing.
way entrance. You walk past sort of the stage in
they
a
walk
way.
past me, pretty much.
Yeah,
like-
it's everyone turns and looks when people walk.
Yeah, and I
in.
have to be like, oh, yeah, hey, Yvette, hey, Tom.
Yeah.
3 people who I've been talking to. It's like, yeah, I know those people. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Yep.
Anyway, keep going on the show, whatever. About 45 seconds after they sit down, I just hear like this noise. I'll do it on mic. Hold on. I reckon I can get this noise going. I just hear this noise from the back of the room. And it's Tom Sanderson.
Yeah. He was
Crushing.
making a salad.
It's like, this vinaigrette.
Tom's at the back of the room, right? Because he asked. So I found out later what happened is that he asked Yvette for Yvette had Dexies. He asked Yvette for a Dexie. Dexies are pills. I can remind you. You could just swallow a Dexie, right?
You could enjoy the show. Wait, hold on. I mean, you could.
He needed to concentrate on the show.
Yeah, you could pretend to enjoy the
He
show.
missed half of it. He needed to concentrate to figure out where it was going.
He absolutely did not need to be crushing up a Dexie and like the most exaggerated, over the top, like.
Oh, well,
snorting
but that's the way, obviously, Sando would do something.
That's how he
like,
does it.
every chop is like, I'm doing drugs.
I'm surprised he didn't have it. I'm surprised he didn't put the pill in a guillotine. You know? Put a black robe on his
No, it would never be a guillotine because that's what the bourgeois used to kill the working class heroes.
He'd bring in the fucking NutriBullet.
It's like this is the same guy who one time about 2 years ago walking down George Street at like 11 p.m. Not even that late. He just turns to me and just yells, "Fuck, I'm high!" Like he's not a subtle drug user, right?
He is definitely. I like to proclaim how high I am person. Well, I do that a little bit, but
Everyone
I
does it
feel
a
it.
little,
Yeah.
but
But
yeah.
so he's already high before he's snorting.
I guess so. I don't know.
Right,
I don't know. So he's loudly and like to the point where it's so loud. There's only 3 other people in the room. I have to like address it, and then he's like,
It's insane behavior from anyone.
and he's just kind of like, "Haha, yeah, dude, haha." And I'm like, "No, can you not fucking do that?" And he's like, "Haha." 10 minutes later, exact same thing happens over again. He has another fucking Dexie.
He did it again?
He did it twice. Yeah, he did it twice.
And did your fiance do it as well?
No, not at all.
So can I just read Rian's message? Because he said, low light, his last show had his mate and fiance wandering halfway through, laughing obnoxiously at him while doing lines of Dexies on the tables. It was a dip. So he says Yvette was doing him too.
And so this
I don't
guy,
think she was, but maybe she
so
was.
this
I don't
guy
know.
runs the venue,
Yeah, so it's his
and
room.
so he sees people snorting drugs off the table.
Well, he actually says
I
off
think he just runs
my
it for the
tables.
festival. So
He
I-
rents a room. He rents the room. He puts
but
it
he
together.
could get in trouble for that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. It was a definite vibe and not a 100% pleasant one, which like Rihan the whole time never said a bad word about anything to anyone. So he was, it seemed like quite annoyed
was
about
angry.
I know you were, but also like from a venue point of view, this was not cool. This is not. It wasn't just ruin the show. It was like pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like any of us who heard that story were also angry on your behalf.
Yeah, I think so.
And also just to say, Yvette came to me in Squires' show, I think the night before, with a friend, sat up the front with a friend, and was great the whole time. Was like into it, laughing, great audience member.
I'm pretty sure it was just Sando doing the Dexies. I reckon she was giving them to it. Like she would have been giving them to it. I don't think she would have been. She doesn't
But at
really
no point
snort
would she
them.
like stop fucking doing that.
Yeah,
This is my
yeah, no
fiance's
point.
show.
She's like-
Like if you
Yeah, true. She
can,
didn't need to give him the second
like
Dexie.
say if I was
Yeah.
I was doing a show and you sat down next to Amy and started cutting shit up, she'd be like, "Get the fuck out of the room." Like,
Yeah,
she
that's
wouldn't
valid.
turn up
Yeah.
halfway through with Jamie. You know what I mean?
That's a valid criticism.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is your moment, dude, because this is the one story in your Melbourne run where you're not comically inept or villainous.
It fucked me up in the like villainous.
I don't know. I was just trying to spruce it up a little.
Big Dutch sprucing it up there.
Not bad.
Oh man, it was pretty fucked. And then obviously, the crowd were very confused about what was happening. It completely fucked up the vibe. I was in a bad mood.
I would have thought it was a plan. Like
Well,
if I hit that, I would have been like, "Oh yeah, Cambo's doing something
My last
crazy."
show
Do you
was
reckon anyone did think that it was a plan?
no, based on how flustered I was about it, probably not. Anyway, so the last show was bad. The last show ended quite
So
badly.
did Tom say anything afterwards? Or?
As
fine.
was the ending of that story.
Well, that's how it ended. I afterwards I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks, dude." And he was like, "Haha." Like he didn't. I still don't think he realized he fucked up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He will when he listens to this.
Good.
Which he will.
What am I going to do? Confront him directly, like a man?
Aren't we all
No,
going
thank
to
you.
beat him up after this?
Aren't we all going to literally have beers with him in about 40 minutes?
yeah.
And now he'll realize why we didn't invite him here.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyway, so the day after that, you guys left. You guys went, and I went and started staying with Yvette in her hotel.
She let you sleep on the floor. That's great.
She had a little dog futon for Hastings.
All right, this is pretty nice. No,
Chopped up hash brown and put it in the bowl.
Thanks for letting me use the tea towel as a pillow of it.
Well, she did pay for the hotel. It was kind of within her rights to do that. So it was pretty nice. But hold on, there's a couple things that happened after we left. Oh, yeah. So on the last night at the closing party, two kind of fucked things happened. One was I was at sort of pre-drinks with Daisy, who was doing like my flyering stuff for me, her sister, who was actually doing the flyering, a few sort of Adelaide and Melbourne comedians were there hanging out, and it was all good. And I got quite drunk on like other people's alcohol, like drinking their champagne and shit, which I don't normally
used
drink.
to that.
Yep. It's my MO. And they had this like disgusting bottle of pre-mixed sangria. And I was joking with my flyer about how bad the run went and how low my ticket sales were. And so I said, I'm going to scull a glass of this for every person who came to my highest selling show. So I sculled 5 sangrias in a row. But because it's pretty weak alcohol and it was like fine. It gave me the worst hangover of all time. But it was like one of these things where like I said it, I was like, that's a funny joke. Halfway through sculling second glass, I was like, this is the saddest thing I've ever done. This is incredibly, this is deeply pathetic.
You say highest selling show, but...
Door sales.
I'm sorry.
Run that report again, Alex.
You had 5 come, but they were 5 free tickets.
No, I sold 5 tickets one night.
Okay, well, the jury's out. There's no paper trail there.
Yeah. And then I went to the festival club. This isn't really a story, but like... People kept, like, this happened, like, I reckon 4 or 5 times that night. Last night's, like, big party. It's all crazy. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's on drugs and shit. I wasn't doing any drugs that night. 4 or 5 times people came up to me, and I was like, oh, my good friend, name redacted, from Sydney, coming to hang out with me. Every single time it was a different person trying to get coke off me. I don't know what, like, I'm just like, oh, that's all. I'm just the drug guy. I'm just, I'm like having a tough time. I really could have used a friend, like.
To be fair, like, I get messages all the time, and I'm like, who why is this person? Oh.
Yeah. That was, like,
it's not a fun rep to have.
I get that too, particularly with people, like, asking for weed. Because, like, I don't sell weed. I've never sold weed. I don't know why.
Once Squires goes home, no one's got the hookup,
The golden hand.
But that was it. It was like, something about being at festival. I was like, man, that would have been, like, a good time for me to, like, see a friend and catch up and like be like, oh, cool, yeah. Hey, what a crazy festival time we've all had.
Me and Alex should have stayed for the long weekend.
I mean,
we all could have stayed.
It was fun. It was
we could have. I was happy I went at the time because I was like, I'd had enough, but also it would have been fun.
It was fun.
But, like, it would have been weird to stay around for 3 days without shows, I suppose.
Yeah. But particularly all in, like, Yvette's hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. Me and you in the bed with Yvette, Hastings still on the floor. Well, she did enjoy our show. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, it was good times. It was, Sam Campbell said the meanest thing to me anyone's ever said.
What is that?
I saw his show and it was very good. And I saw him, 2 hours later at the festival club. And I went, hey, Cambo, saw your show tonight. It was great. And he goes, yeah, thanks. That means a lot coming from Hastings.
Well, he always seems like he's having a socially healthy festival.
Well, to be fair, I saw Cambo that same day, and I saw him, and he went, oh, Jamie Kirk, it's good to see you. And I said, hey, man, I saw your show last night. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And he said, oh, God bless you. Thank you so much for coming.
That's like the time that both of you messaged Morahan to get on 10 Comedians. And then Hastings like, yeah, he doesn't book people who book rooms. Look, I read out the message. It says, hi, Andrew. I know you're on Powerbomb. Yeah, so thanks for inquiring, but sorry, we don't book people who run rooms. And then you read your phone. It's like, hi, Jamie. I know you're on Powerbomb. Thanks for inquiring. We'd love to have you on. You literally read it off next to him.
To be fair, Morahan has since booked me.
Okay.
I'm actually a good comedian.
To be fair.
Fair. So is Hastings.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan.
Well, we just ran out of memory.
We are pretty much about done. Do you have any final thoughts about Melbourne or quitting comedy?
Nah, man. I guess come to my Sydney show.
You've sold more tickets for your Sydney show than your entire run in Melbourne already, right?
Like, way more.
Yeah.
5 years old.
I think
5 and 7.
Yeah,
Do you have access, Squaz?
Yeah, let me just run that Sydney Comedy Festival report.
We don't even have a show. They still let us access it.
Yeah, I think each night I've sold about what I did for the whole run.
Wow.
I think you should, for all future festival shows, use the Powerbomb login so that we can always see them.
I think
I'm
it's
definitely not doing that again. Yeah. Oh, and my flight was delayed on the way back by 3 hours.
Oh,
and I was I so needed to go home. I was like getting like I ended up at the airport with Bensley. We ended up being on the same flight. When it looked like the flight was going to get cancelled, like I nearly cried in the airport, and I was legitimately being like, "Man, I hope Bensley doesn't see me cry."
Oh man,
that would have been the perfect kappa.
It was like
you
I was there,
breaking
I was like,
down, crying.
I was literally there in the middle, like it was like real cry because I was just so hungover from the fucking sangria and shit, and I was just there, and I was like literally there being like, "Look, it's been a tough couple of weeks, but like." this is this will break me. Like if this happened, if I don't get back home tonight, I need to see my cats. Like this will break me. This will fuck me up. I was also worried that my cats wouldn't be able to get fed because of like the way the keys worked with who was house sitting and shit. I was like worried I'm going to come home to dead cats and shit. Luckily, it all worked out fine.
So Bensley messaged me, sitting with Hastos at the airport while he loudly talks about fucking in front of a horrified old lady. How do I make him stop?
He could have just asked me. People could just talk to me directly.
I got a similar message and I said, "Oh, you can just tell him to shut the fuck up occasionally," and he'll do it. He complies. It's not like he's like, "I'm the rudest boy. I don't care what anyone thinks." That's only on stage.
The best part about Hastings is when you're going to any pub or club when you're meeting him and you're with anyone else and he's with a group of people and you walk in the door and then you've just got the Hastings sonar because you can just hear in the background, you just hear him cut through everyone else and you go, there, he's over there, the back right corner. You can hear him from anywhere.
No, it's good to have the support of my friends during this difficult time.
Oh, well.
Well, that'll do it from us, I think. Come to Powerbomb Comedy every Friday, everybody.
Yeah, if you're in Sydney, come tomorrow night because I'm hosting.
Yep. Or
When's this
tomorrow
released?
night. So it comes out Thursday.
Also on the show, headliner Guy Montgomery from New Zealand and famed Hastings roaster Sam Campbell.
Yep, that's true. Also,
And Jamie
the day
Kirk.
after the show comes, the day after this
roaster.
episode comes out, I'm doing my last show for the Sydney Comedy Festival. It'll be the
Never.
last time that I'll ever be performing a vulgar display of comedy. So come through.
And ever.
If Clementine Ford has anything to do with it.
Oh, man.
Oh, God, that would make me laugh if just like a photo
If it got
of that
viral
turned up
from
in
that,
her feed.
oh, baby. That could actually help you.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
definitely help me. Like,
Yeah.
You should just DM her.
yeah.
Just DM her
As
the
some-
image
Get Ali
with
to
no,
say-
with no
What are you going to
text.
do about it? What are you going to do about it, dude?
No, don't say anything. Just send a photo and see what happens.
Yeah. She's probably a Pantera fan. She'd get it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She looks like she has a
Clementine
sense of-
Ford is probably a Pantera
Yeah,
fan.
I'm
sure-
Pantera who have ties to white supremacy.
I'm sure she has a sense of
That one's
humour.
not going to slip by her.
I reckon Clem Ford's a big Pantera fan.
No.
No, she's a fan of
Cowboys
stand-up
from Hell
comedy.
Did.
Yes.
So it's like,
She's a
yeah.
fan of irony. So, all right. We done?
You guys have anything you want to plug?
Yeah.
don't-
Visit literacyplanet.com.
Go to Sweeney's on the third Tuesday of every month. It's the greatest open
Yeah.
I
mic.
invite you
in
here
the
on my
CBD.
podcast.
Yeah,
On
I
a
live
Tuesday.
at 15 Binning Street.
That's your
Fa-
actual...
Fabian, put a bin liner in, please, for once.
We might have to beep that.
No, I think it's fine. Who cares?
We
if
didn't say
anyone shows up?
the suburbs.
It could be any.
How many
Yeah.
binning streets are there?
2. Is he in Erskine or is he in WA? Well, we'll never know. It's coin flip.
Because all these keen listeners super keen to stalk Ben Squires.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Are we done? Anyway, Hastings, RIP.
Oh, here we go. We get to go around the horn, everybody.
To the next step.
To the next step.
To the next step.
To the next Hastings solo show.
I'm not fucking doing it this episode. You guys are mean to me the whole fucking time. I'm not doing it. I'm not participating in this. I'm here
fucking
voluntarily. I don't have to be here.
Yeah, well, see ya.